Okay, welcome back to the episode 3 of this campaign. So this is where we left off. We're about to go into the redacted mission. I think something to do with CSAT possibly, but we'll have a look and see what's going on with that. But yeah, in the last episode we played as Nathan for the most part of it, but we also played as Lixis, or I think that's how I pronounce his name, which was quite interesting, seeing how his fight went on. So let's get into this campaign, this next part.
Do you happen to remember it well? The airstrike, I mean.
Yeah. October 13th. Cluster bomb. Town was shook up pretty bad. The army just wasn't able to capture the place. And Colonel Arcanteros, he did not tolerate failure. So he asked foreign powers to intervene. Come in, break the guerrillas' resolve.
Right. And the evidence in the commission report, doesn't it point to CSAT?
Yeah. But truth can be the first casualty of war.
Sure, but didn't somebody witness them in action?
From a distance, yeah. Though he wasn't exactly what you'd call reliable. Guy was a goat herd. Barely spoke any English.
That was not in the report I read.
It never is. Still, he did say they came down by parachute, and that at least was corroborated by multiple sources.
So we're parachuting in. I'm trying not to kill myself in the fall.
These operatives, then? They moved in on the castle?
Yep. Must have been a fire team at least.
Let's move to the castle then.
The man who claimed to have seen all of this, is there anything else you can tell me about him?
Not much. Like I say, simple goat herd. Lived alone. Small stone shed just north of the castle.
Okay, so the way we're going to approach this, I think, is from like directly up onto this road here. Hopefully that should be okay to do. I think my guys are still following.
Okay, let's get back to CSAT. What were they doing there, on Altis, at this time?
They were an embedded training team, ETT. Officially, they were just there to oversee counterinsurgency operations.
And unofficially?
Anyone's guess. A lot of different rumors. Black sites, car bombs, false flags.
Okay, we're getting pretty close to this mortar position now. Can start seeing the flashes. I don't actually know where the mortar is, but I can take a rough guess where it's going to be. Alright, okay. Got one guy here. Got a second guy. Right. See one guy there.
The guerrillas were taken out, one by one.
Oof. That was a little bit too intense for me, I think. I heard a guy speak down there. I don't know if he's alerted or not. Don't think they are alerted. I think they're still just firing their mortars. Oh, I see a guy over there. I'll move around the flank. We'll get nice and close up shot on him because my optic isn't particularly great. He's down. magazine. I'm gonna turn light off on this quad bike so they don't see us. Oh, we can't. My guys are still behind us in the tree line, so if we need them, we'll pull them up. There's more to must be down this pit somewhere. Okay, I see a camionet. I hear one guy down there as well. Got around some heavy fire over there. The mortar's just down here. Two guys there.
Fired. When things kicked off, there was a short burst of panicked radio chatter.
درگیری! سرباز! 75 متر سمت راست ما! عقب نشینی!
Frag out.
درگیری!
bad,
افسر!
Franco.
75 متر در جلو!
Okay, we'll go around the other side actually. Right, let's move. Possibly go through here. Friendly. That was not friendly. So I think there's a guy on there. There's at least two guys behind us.
Then, silence. If we're to
Did we get
believe the goat herd, they then set up a position on the battlements. Moved to a vantage point on the castle's outer wall.
So what do we have to do? So move. Reach observation post. Where's that to? Nah, it's just over here somewhere. Right in front.
Okay, according to my
Direct
notes,
and
several
airstrike.
targets were identified from afar, presumably by these special forces at the castle. Once they had a handle on what was what, they called it in. A jet approached from the east and dropped a single bomb. The positions in
So
the
we've got a
town were then
HMG.
destroyed, but the church and IDAP's camps were left untouched. Does that match up with events as they were given to you?
Yeah, though to manage a guided strike like that, they must have had thermal imaging.
So that there's two HM. I think that's probably the best place where those two HMGs are. Yeah. Okay, so I guess we're gonna get bomber in now. Support.
درخواست حمله هوایی به موقعیت فرستاده شد. تمام.
Copy that. Strike aircraft on the way. Out.
Do you know why the government signed off on such a heavy-handed response? A cluster bomb? That's rather indiscriminate. Even if it was laser-guided.
Sure, I mean, with a designator, you just switch it on, aim it at, well, whatever. The idea is that you remain in place, keep the laser on target. But even if it's done perfectly, a lot of uncontrolled variables. One of our doctors was out on the front line with medical supplies.
Wait, he wasn't at the church?
No, he was out in the open.
It's getting quite light now. Yeah, I think it's like 3 HMG trucks down there, so that's probably the best place. And a load of ammo caches. My laser's still on, and here comes the bird. There it is. You just released the munition. Jesus.
By all accounts, the town
Jeez.
just seemed to explode. Buildings were burning for days.
And this spotter, he just disappeared?
Yeah, last seen leaving the castle, heading west.
Let's talk about IDAP's doctor. You said he was on his way to the church. Did he make it
Let's
there?
move.
No, he lost his life. Killed trying to save others.
I'm pretty sure the church didn't get hit quite clearly, because that's still going off.
I can certainly say the devastation was severe. Dozens killed, combatants and non-combatants alike. The guerrillas, they were in total disarray. Many fled, retreating to the mountains. And IDAP, we did what we could, but there were so many wounded. So many we'd never be able to identify.
Okay, I think
Nathan?
I hear some friendly
No,
vehicles.
I'm still here. I just need to grab something real quick.
There you go.
This'll only take a sec.
So the exfil's at this T-junction just down here, and I assume we get in that vehicle. My boys are falling up behind me, so it's right.
I understand that CSAT denied any involvement.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe with good reason.
Oh?
Look, I don't know. There were shell casings found at the castle. NATO mil-spec.
Okay, so then either they were supplying the guerrillas or...
Or they were there. Maybe trying to win back the government support. Maybe...
What?
I don't know.
Hear that? Sounds like our delivery drone.
I'm on it.
Just, check the box underneath for the toolkit.
I swear to God, Andy, if it's empty again...
That was one time. Trust me, you'll be dicking around with landmines
Awesome, get
soon
the
enough,
toolkit.
Mac.
Yep.
Good. Toolkit's here. See you later, little buddy.
What's that?
Nothing. Just, talking to myself.
Okay, little buddy. Sure thing.
Hey, how are you getting on?
Not bad, not bad. Our gear's finally arrived from dispatch. I can start deactivating mines and leftover ordnance now.
Oh, right. And do you do that by hand?
Sure do. Crawl up close, identify it, and then just, disarm the thing.
I'm sure it's more involved than that.
Yeah, well, I may have skipped the part where, it can explode.
It's So I guess we have to clear the rest of the town now from explosives, which I'm not too impressed with. Oh, we got one right in front here. There you go. Where's the wire to? It's just there, so if we're on the opposite side of it, it'll be fine.
Gotcha.
We got memory here, which I've never seen before.
Nathan, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't IDAP and NATO share some common goals? The training, for example. The laws of armed conflict?
Sorta. It's a tough one, actually. It was important we didn't overstep the mark.
You had to be impartial.
Precisely. In a conflict, we have to remain neutral, a partner to all parties, even those that, personally, we may object to.
There you go. Some memory here.
You mentioned that IDAP worked with a local mechanic. How did that come about?
Hollywood might call it serendipity, but I don't know. He just saved our ass one time, and then another, and so the story goes. There wasn't much special about his setup, but guy knew the difference between a crankshaft and a tire iron.
He was good at what he did then.
There wasn't much he couldn't fix. Never asked for a receipt, though, if you know what I mean.
Oh, there's UX. Ah, there's one in the wall in here, isn't there? Yes.
You know, Alexis' house, his workshop, it was like something from another time.
I'm not quite sure I follow.
Pounding of a hammer, back and forth of a wood saw, I don't know. Things felt simpler back then, is all. Far cry from what was to come. Well, you were one sneaky little bastard. Now, what were you hiding upstairs?
Oh.
There's an old photograph here. Picture of Alexis and his brother Marcos.
The civilian killed at the church. The landmine, right?
Yeah. Although, honestly, it was a small miracle he'd made it that far.
Tell me more about Marcos.
Poor guy. He always seemed to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. He'd made it through the airstrike, but only to get caught up in the assault that followed right after.
There were still guerrillas in the town, even after the strike.
But Oreo Castro, it wasn't just a town. It had become a symbol of the resistance. It was important for both sides, and government forces were making their final push. Alexis had made it out, but his brother? Like I say, Marcos was always shit out of luck. The guy had been waiting at his brother's place. Marcos had been wounded, caught in the leg by shrapnel.
I see. Do you think he went there to talk his brother into leaving, or to join the force?
That's what task.
Marcos was there to talk his brother down, I think. He was only interested in survival, and that meant getting IDAP at the church.
He remained non-combatant then.
Protected by the Geneva Conventions, Article 51. But you gotta remember, right after the strike, it was total chaos.
they're engaging him. Nearly there now. I guess just try and get in here. Oof.
An hour or two later, the government sent a truck to our camp. The soldiers searched the civilians for hidden weapons.
But they didn't find any.
No, and we'd already checked. It's vital our camps are weapon-free spaces, safe havens.
And Marcus, he must have made it through then.
Yeah, just about. We talked a few times after. I don't know, he seemed different.
I can imagine why. And what did he do after?
Hard to tell, but like I said, he kept looking for his brother.
Of course. And Marcus, his body, is still there in the churchyard?
Yeah. To think he survived all that just to return to the same spot less than a year later.
Nathan, you said that Alexis had been a recruit in the Altis Armed Forces.
Yeah, that's right.
So, his decision to leave the army, to join the guerrillas, do you know how that came about?
It's funny, I asked Marcos the same thing once. He just looked at me and shrugged. Later on, I heard their father had been killed in the Civil War, but I don't know. Whatever his reasons, Marcos seemed to have made peace with the fact he wouldn't change his brother's mind.
So I guess it's time to go towards the church grounds. Or we should be told the same thing for the native people, that we essentially can't be there.
NATO's been busy. Even managed to clear out a few mines.
This wasn't here before. Play the Major.
Special type, too. Very distinctive.
Remnants of the firefight, the one you've been telling me about.
That's right.
And Alexis, he'd been there.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I just met a guy claiming to have known him.
So, this firefight, it was... Just let me check the calendar. 8 days ago?
Yeah. Day of the NATO invasion. After the flashpoint on Stratis, there was chaos. Nobody seemed to know what to do. Finally, NATO got their act together, launched an assault on the Altis mainland.
And CSAT?
Caught off guard by the whole thing. They were there to fight guerrillas, not start World War III. So when CSAT dropped their support, government forces panicked. They were on the back foot. Needed to regroup. Major Gavras was put in charge, but it was a tall order. Gavras tried to fortify their position in the northwest, but it was a risk, and he ended up cut off. The guerrillas, they didn't hesitate, stormed its position, sent the survivors running.
Okay, and if you don't mind me asking, how did you come to hear this?
Costas Dimitri, a lieutenant, and the major's adjutant. Along with Gavras, the two of them were trying to make it to a helipack.
Move 200 meters. Front. Contact! Just over 200 meters. Front.
Guess this helicopter we're getting into. I have not much ammo
You say
whatsoever.
they were trying to make it.
NATO took it out.
How?
that point, they had air supremacy. Caught it on the hop.
Did they have another plan?
Not exactly, but they decided to make a stand at the church.
Uh-oh.
Move 200 meters. Front.
And the Major? What sort of a man was he? Was he respected?
Yeah, I mean, his reputation wasn't bloodied in the Civil War. Gavras was his own man. Knew when to follow orders and when to adapt them.
Not the type to violate Loak, then.
Well, that's a gray area.
What about that NATO helicopter behind us? Ghost Hawk.
Contact. Helicopter. 400 meters. Bearing 315.
In the course of the firefight, the Major used a mine dispenser. You can think of it like a portable minefield. This thing throws 14 mines as much as 50 feet, spread out across a wide arc of fire in front of them.
And they're designed to maim rather than kill.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. They can still be lethal.
I guess we'll go hold up inside the church then.
The Major ordered Costas
Open up!
to place mines too.
So I got the mine dispenser now, so I guess we're
Alexis,
heading
alongside a bunch of guerrillas, they were approaching from the north. At the same time, a NATO squad was moving in on their position. They'd been outnumbered 10 to 1. Like it or not, these mines represented their best. Maybe to activate the mine dispenser, they could either set a timer or trigger it remotely.
I guess we'll touch this off then. Like that. I guess we now need one in front of here. To possibly put it here and touch it off whilst we're inside.
They scattered the mines and sat tight, waiting for the enemy. Facing those kind of odds, it was the only thing they could do.
Contact, soldier! Dimitiero, attack that rifleman!
Uh-oh. Right now I hear him.
Contact, machine gunner!
There you go. Hopefully he's got covered the left side. Here they come. I think there's a lot more of them than I have bullets.
Contact, soldier!
One guy just went down there. I can't see anything, god damn it.
Contact, man!
This does not look good for me whatsoever. We'll see some guys there.
Contact, soldier!
Loads of guys got injured. The mines, they'd done their job.
I've covered countless conflicts. A capacity to hurt one another. It never fails to surprise.
Man's inhumanity. It's really something.
Area clear.
Talk to me about the Major. What happened when he returned? Did he survive the war?
Yeah, he did. He's pretty much the reason NATO's invasion lasted 3 days instead of 1. You heard about the fierce fighting at Kalikori, right?
Yes, a colleague of mine covered that, actually.
Well, that was Gavris. He held the line till the government capitulated. And now, actually, he's involved in the peace process.
And Costas, how did your paths cross? I'm still a little unclear.
Oh, Lieutenant Dimitriou. He came to IDAP, to our camp. The AAF provided us with information on the mines. Guy was a wreck, but his training had kicked in. He documented the minefields. Well, as best he could. But for Marcos, it was already too late. He'd already found one. Poor bastard.
And the wounded? Did Costas have anything to say about them?
Off the record?
Pen's leaving paper.
His name's come up in connection to a war crime. There's allegations he carried out a summary execution.
Okay. You've mentioned Alexis was with the guerrillas. Do you know what became of him?
No, his fate's unknown, but I can only imagine he's dead, buried somewhere. Some unmarked grave like so many others.
Honestly, Nathan, all this information, it's a godsend. You've given me loads to work with here.
It's nothing, really.
Now, there's just one last question I'd like to ask you. It's subjective, so take your time.
Sure. Fire away.
In your opinion, who's most to blame for all the suffering in Oria Castro? NATO? The guerrillas? CSAT? The Altis Armed Forces? Or, I don't know, something else?
think I need to pick one. Well, in the campaign, I only ever seen CSAT do one thing wrong, which was get involved with obviously that cluster munition, which I thought was the wrong bit. What caused the most damage? That's the question. Yeah, I think everyone's accountable equally. Everyone's putting down mines. So in terms of laws of war, I mean that's what I was gonna pick.
I'd have to say, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think it's quite so black and white. It's more black and gray. Hell, gray and gray, No one side can be held accountable for the bloodshed here. No one action got us where we are now. I don't know. What can we do? Just double down on our efforts. Heal the wounds. And the folks here in Oreo Castro, they're the ones that have suffered. This is the reality. This is war.
Hey, Nathan, I have a link for you. It's to my article. Be gentle, it's a draft. My editor's running it by legal as we speak.
Well, this is pretty cool. I think by the looks of it, it's quite a large article. So what I'm going to do is put some images of the whole entire article in the description so you can read it after. But I think just skip to the next part. I'm pretty sure this is now the end of the campaign, but we'll see.
Oh, right, yeah, the mines. I've still got work to do here.
Of course. Okay, well, thanks again for everything. Should I let you get on, or...?
I don't mind talking. Maybe I can tell you a bit more about the town. Andy, you there?
What? Yeah, I'm not sleeping. What? What's up? We done here?
Yeah, I'll meet you by the van in 5.
All right, Mac. I'll get us packed up.
Only if it's not too much effort, Sleeping Beauty.
He's good.
Hey, it's me.
Hello. Did I hear correctly? You're on the move?
Yeah, next job. Some truck hit an AT mine yesterday. Little ways out from here, I said we'd check up on it.
Okay. I'll not keep you. Thanks again. And good luck out there, Nathan. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Bye, Kate.
Well, that is the end of this campaign, Remnants of War. I really enjoyed this, although it wasn't really combat focused. I think it really emphasised again on the title of this DLC. So yeah, it was really interesting. I think You've done a very good job. As I said before, I think I said at the start of one of the first episodes that this is probably one of the best campaigns that Bohemia Interactive have actually done, in my personal opinion. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you hopefully in the next campaign I do for whatever DLC comes out, or any user-made DLCs on the workshop. See ya.